in space. He is waiting. Somewhere on this ship, he is watching. He is powerful.
What the hell was that?
He is evil.
He's here.
And he's ready to party.
Good evening. Hot stuff coming up.
Welcome to the latest episode of the podcast that wouldn't die. I'm your host, Kevin. With me, as always, is Aaron.
Hey.
This week, we'll be discussing the dumpster fire, the horror story, the freak show, the shit show, Leprechaun 4, in space.
What are you talking about? I thought you were going to tell me this was your most favorite Leprechaun of all.
I mean, I got to be honest. This is the third Leprechaun movie I've ever seen. And every time I've been like, why are we watching this? They're unwatchable. They are truly unwatchable.
It starts off kind of goofy and funny, and then it gets a little boring.
I have to be honest with you. It's both times I went into Amazon Prime because they're not free anywhere. And I was like, how much to rent? And it's like $3.99 to rent. And then it's like, but $4.99 to buy.
I got to tell you, sadly, rent was not an option. It was $4.99 to buy or shut the front door.
No question. No question. It's like you walk in and you're like, I know this is going to be god awful, but I'm pot committed now. I'm all in. I got to ride this wave and see where it takes me, right into the coral reef. Aaron, give us your 30-second synopsis of Leprechaun 4 in space.
Honestly, I started to get nervous at one point in the movie. I thought there was going to be some leprechaun rape, and I was like, oh no, we're not going to go that way, or hopefully not. But anyway, guess what? In space, I don't know how the leprechaun got in space because I didn't see the other 12 movies, but Leprechaun's in space with some kind of Barbarella space queen, and they were rudely interrupted by some fake crew from Alien without Ripley. And They fight with the leprechaun. They steal the space woman. They blow up the leprechaun and pee on his head. Leprechaun apparently is immortal and grows himself back, shows up seeking his revenge. You know, instead of seeking his treasure this time, he's trying to get the space queen because money's not enough. He needs power. This is all really it's an allegory of Donald Trump. He's got the whatever Eastern European woman. Now he has the money. Now he needs the power. When you have the power, you get the vehement.
Exactly. I think we can all agree on that.
And for the leprechaun, it all takes a left turn. Sad but true.
Poor very sad. For the poor little leprechaun.
Not sad at all. Creepy and kind of gross, but I gotta tell you, folks, the leprechaun doesn't win, or does he?
Had you ever seen this before?
Hell no.
Had you ever heard of this before?
I think only from your ramblings.
I had never seen this before.
That is a shock to me. I assumed you saw all of them.
No, when we reviewed the original Leprechaun with Jennifer Aniston and the gang and all the rest. We realized that movie was lousy. The one that started it all was lousy. So I remember I went 30 years having never seen another one of these Leprechaun movies because it was the first one was so.
Wait, you didn't see Leprechaun in the Hood? I
saw Leprechaun in the Hood 30 years later. Okay. And Leprechaun in the Hood is mildly amusing.
How racist is it?
Very racist. Very racist.
Against our African-American friends and the Irish again?
Absolutely. All the bases are covered. But I'd heard of this one. I'd heard of it. But I had no desire to see it. Now, we were talking about, hey, we should do a St. Patty's Day episode, but we'd already done Leprechaun. So then it's like, well, what do we do? What else we got? And the one you suggested we do is Leprechaun 4 in space. So this is you're to blame, if I must say. I lay that at your feet.
I would say in the spectrum of terrible movies, this is not the worst.
I think it's pretty damn bad. It's pretty damn bad.
I will say I fell asleep twice at the end, and I did not bother to rewind it.
I tried to make myself fall asleep. And was not successful, sadly. No, I had to.
Did you try the anvil on the head?
The frying pan. Yes. No, I did fall asleep, but it was a fitful sleep, right? Spazzing out. No leprechauns.
Warwick dreams of Warwick Davis snuggling up between you and your wife.
Pretty much, it's a sad situation. Let's jump right in to the fun. I
gotta tell you, my notes make no sense. It's all I must have it. I don't know. I think I was of right mind, but I'm not sure. What does a sloppy brain cap mean?
I have no idea what sloppy brain cap means.
Right under that, I wrote Sully Pulley.
Were you in an opium den watching this, or what happened?
I don't know what happened. Maybe there was a gas leak in the house. I don't know.
Okay, let's just jump right in. Sweet Jesus. Feel free to jump in anytime with this nonsense. When we first see the spaceship, the quality is ridiculous. It is, there are video games at that time that weren't as lousy as these spaceships flying through space. Horrendously horrible.
Like
just for openers.
Like asteroid quality?
This is Missile Command. This is they wish they were Galaga, is what I'm saying. It is horrendous. So immediately you're like, was this straight to video? Is that what we're dealing with now?
It does have that smell to it, like straight to video, or was it just like a junior college art project?
It seems like that, because it is so, in the acting, sweet Jesus. I'm not looking for Sir Laurence Olivier. I get it. This ain't that kind of thing. Horrendous.
What do you mean? We got another member of the Young and the Restless here.
That is true. Well, she's also on Loving. If you remember that soap opera. Yeah.
I believe that's gone to be with Jesus. But I think we have a theme here. I think we're only going to review horror movies with members of the Young and the Restless.
Is that too much to ask for? Oh God. Do you remember her character's name?
Oh, do I remember? I remember there's Leprechaun.
Well, that's something.
That's it. I do have something that says Valo Zia. Or I don't even know. I think that was what's Valo Orders. Oh no, never mind. I know what that is.
I have no idea what you're saying.
I don't know what anyone's name is. I was trying to read my notes that made no sense. Maybe I was asleep while I was writing it down. No, literally, there is Leprechaun, and then there's Zombie from Pee-wee's Playhouse. And that is it.
Okay.
Zombie, who later becomes like a Dalek centaur. That's all I can say.
Oh God. Yes. Okay. We're people who are listening are going to know what the hell is happening.
I don't want to jump ahead.
Well, okay. So without rhyme or reason, the Leprechaun is on this planet. Are we supposed to think that's Earth in the future? I don't know. On this planet, I'm asking.
Not Earth. No, okay. They're in space. We don't know how the Leprechaun got there because, God forbid, none of us bothered to watch Leprechaun 3. Maybe they put him on a rocket.
Okay, and by the way, Leprechaun 4, straight to video.
That's about right.
Leprechaun 3, straight to video. Leprechaun to the Hood, straight to video. Back to the Hood, straight to video. There were like a bunch of straight to video sequels. I'm sad. Poor Warwick Davis.
I think it is an insult to direct-to-video because I, in the 90s, was heavily invested in the straight-to-video Full Moon Entertainment with Subspecies,
Yep.
all the Dollman species, the
Demonic
Devil Dolls,
Toys. Yep.
Demonic Toys. I was on their mailing list. I was down with it. And this is I spit on your grave compared to those direct-to-videos.
This wishes it was Full Moon Entertainment. I ain't
Yes.
gonna lie. It is horrendous. So yeah, the leprechaun still dressed in his traditional leprechaun garb. And I have to say, if you listen closely, no one ever calls him a leprechaun. He's never referred to as a leprechaun this entire movie.
Does he have a name at all?
No. They just call him that monster or that alien. Yeah. They never call him a leprechaun. It is the weirdest thing. Go ahead.
What do they call him? Just the little guy?
No, they call him that monster is going to get us. They just call him like kind of general epithets, but not, they never say, damn, it's a leprechaun. So
how weird. Maybe they don't even know what a leprechaun. Honestly, I think the people I work with would have no idea. Frankly, just being Irish in my community makes me like a unicorn.
what is everybody's Basque? Is that what you're saying? In your community?
Everybody is Latinx.
Okay. Gotcha. Anywho, but it's almost like they already had like a script for a space adventure, and then they just said, I'm going to take the leprechaun character and just plunk him right into this already written space adventure because it makes no GD sense why there's a leprechaun here.
Calling it an adventure
makes
no sense. I'm waiting for the adventure. This is like half a porno.
And not the good half, frankly. No. I got to be honest. You're right. There's the one scene where there's the remarkably busty and attractive, future space marine who's just like goes off because there's like the cantina / dance club, which is the ultimate sausage fest because there's like 5 Marines, 1 is female.
Yeah.
So it's 3 guys drinking and then a guy and a girl kind of dirty dancing to the side. And then they're like, hey, let's get out of here, big boy. And they're like, presumably they have beds somewhere on board. They're like, nah, let's just hit it in the stairwell.
Yeah.
You must have read my mind.
This was all kind of weird. It was all kind of weird. We're all going to be gone for years. None of you guys are ever going to have sex unless it's with each other.
Yes.
So I am just going to wear like not nipple, but full areola. And I'm just going to grind on one of your fellow cast members here and go have sex. And the guys are like, oh, all right.
Not a big deal.
Let's get back to the disco.
Let's get back to the disco. Now, luckily, there is another attractive female on board who they act like they've never seen her before in their lives. What have they been like? They're right. They're like, have they never seen her before? How big is this ship? Because there's only about 8 people on board.
Oh yeah, this is a very misogynistic story arc here.
Lay it on me.
Don't worry. At one point, she's basically walking around in her underwear, as doctors do.
Well, she claims, yes, at one point she gets splashed with acid for no reason, which only burns her clothes off.
Of course.
So that's helpful. It's a special kind of acid that all doctors have to keep around just to burn the naked lady's clothes off. That's how we do in space.
Oh my God, it was so awkward. It was all her trying to assert her authority while the one guy is like, come on, baby, I'm taking care of you. And in the end, come save me. Oh my God, it was so terrible.
It was terrible. It's not a good movie, I'm sad to say. There's also the sergeant character who has like half his head is made of metal.
That's the sloppy brain cap. Now I remember.
Okay.
Because the skin like peeled over on top of this half a silver dome head.
Yes, because the effects are so lousy.
The effects are so lousy. It's literally that putty you get at the Spirit Halloween store.
Right. Well, later in the movie, It's very bizarre. So later in the movie, the busty chick who was hooking up in the stairwell, her boyfriend or love interest gets killed because the leprechaun crawls out of his junk, basically.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a thing for. That's what I put. Okay, now my notes are coming together. I wrote Lep from the urethra. He literally gave birth to a full-grown. Oh, we skipped a part. While he was pissing on the head of the exploded leprechaun, magically, like those fish in the Amazon, they flew right up his hoo-ha.
That is correct. Yes, he earlier in the movie on the planet, they threw a grenade and the leprechaun jumped on it because he was like engaged to be married to the space princess or whatever the hell she is. He's blown to bits. And in an act of ultimate disrespect, one of the space marines just whizzes on like a limb or some chunk of leprechaun left behind. And of course, a spell goes right up his dingle. Oh God. The best thing.
It's so ridiculous. That later on, one of the guys, hey, when it's my time to go, that's how I want to go. With a leprechaun birthing out your urethra? That's how you want to go?
Well, okay. You're kind of skipping it. What happened was the Sarge was walking with Chesty LaRue, and she kind of turned to the Sarge. She's like, Sarge, I have to say, is it my fault that what's his name died? Because I'm the one who gave him the boner. And he said, like, hey, when it's my time to go, I hope I go the same way or something like that. And then she looks at him like, really? Hey, now you're talking my language, big boy. And he gives her a look that is indescribable. I have no idea what emotion he was trying to convey. It was hope. Was he interested? Was he surprised by her outburst? Was he like, I'm just hot, it's cold, I don't know what day it is? His reaction.
I wanted the leprechaun to pop up and a green mist fly up his dingle. All right, you asked for it, you got it.
You asked for it. We haven't even talked about the African American Marine, who's seemingly only there to basically be a racial stereotype. Horrendous. Everything's like, damn. It was horrible. Well, when the dude, they gave him all the one-liners as well. Very, like, constantly it was like,
it's not racist because we've given you all the funny lines, so we can't be. It's like, we're not racist in America. We elected a black president.
Well, this is about 12 years before we elect a black president. So we're still basically having somebody do a minstrel show at this stage again. It was bad. It was a lot of like, I know, like, that's how I roll. It's a lot of like, yes, Miss Daisy. It's a lot of those kind of Amos and Andy kind of things. Very offensive. Very offensive. At one point,
I think he whipped out a yes, a massa at one point.
He did.
No.
Very offensive. So when the guy gets his dingle zapped by the leprechaun, he's like, I would have applauded, but it looks like you've already got the clap. Yeah. Get ready for a lot more of those zingers coming forward. Very offensive.
Pearls.
If you give me diamond and pearls. I've got literally 2 pages of notes here.
I literally stopped taking notes when the Daleks, a scorpion tarantula came into being.
Yes. Okay. So they blew up the leprechaun, or so they thought. They rescued the princess, or so they thought. Her hand got blown off. But then they realized, her hand grows back because she has as an alien who just looks like a human, she has some kind of quality that allows her like regeneration. So the evil guy who's in charge of the ship, who's a bald man with one crazy arm, a normal arm, who's clearly just some dude standing behind like a tray of some sort.
It's a Daleks from Doctor Who.
You keep saying that? He wishes. This is like, when the waiter delivers your food at a hotel let me have this guy stand behind it with one crazy arm. And then they'd show it from behind, and there's like gears and stuff turning around plastic and rubber. It was horrendous. Anywho,
I liked it better when he was just a face in a box with a weird German accent. Follow the orders.
That's correct. Mechaleka hi, Mekahini ho. But so the Marines are evidently, their job is over as of midnight tonight. They're like, we're out of here. We've done our tour. And for some reason, he's able to make them stay and keep working. Do you remember what his threat was? I don't even remember.
Oh, there's, it's like an alien. There's a special caveat to their whatever contract. So he hit him with a stick, and then he hit him with a carrot. So
gotcha. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But then I'm going to give you a bonus. Oh, then there's a secret thing you sign that says that in crisis time, blah, blah, blah. And I guess the crisis is Alien Queen and a leprechaun.
Well, okay. So the leprechaun basically says, give me back the princess and I'll let you go. Give me back the princess. Because he's like, she is kind of like a princess who's like, she's got the title, but she doesn't have the money. So he's able to basically seduce her by saying, we'll get married. I'll bring the money. You bring the title. So she's on board. I mean, she's like his conspirator at this point.
Yes.
We'll kill your dad, and then we'll rule the universe.
She's a bad, greedy person like he is, except they're not going to rule the universe. His plan is to just poke her once and then kill her.
Right. That he later decides I'll just marry her and poke her and bury her all in one day. That's my
he went off on this
voice,
whole anti-female thing about spending all my money on lady things. What is that? Tampons or maxi pads, Gucci purses? I don't know. What are the lady things?
You will go broke purchasing all the maxi pads and tampons. It's an avalanche.
Space
yes. He's not. That's exactly right. He's not down with that. So, oh, good Lord. So anyway, the evil headless arm creature or the head dude, the head bad guy. He's just a head. Is what I'm trying to say.
Zombie. Just call him zombie.
He doesn't want to give back the princess because he wants the regenerative properties of her blood to turn him back into a full person instead of just a head and an arm, essentially. So there's that horrible subplot as well.
Well, that's only good science. If she can regenerate, then just squeezing all her sauce into you for sure will cause you to regenerate.
Absolutely. So, Jesus Christ. They're now. I'm looking at the notes and I'm having flashbacks of watching this movie. Ah, oh, sweet Lord. Later in the movie.
We can talk about the erotic art in the doctor's office on the ship.
Yes, there were sexy mannequins posted around his room.
High gloss, larger than life, black mannequins. It looked like you're at Bob Guccione's villa or something.
Yes, it's penthouse forum.
That's right. It's not the Playboy Mansion. It's going to be Bob Guccione's house.
It's the yuckier place, is what we're trying to say. No question. We didn't even talk about the fact that in the laboratory, for no reason, there are just containers with spiders and scorpions. No explanation at all.
In space. You need some space scorpion juice.
Need some space. Well, of course, it works out later because the leprechaun gets pissed off at crazy the one-arm bandit, and sprays him with the princess's blood. He puts some of the princess's blood into a blender, then throws a spider into the Vitamix, throws a spider and a scorpion in there, grinds it up, and then sticks him with the syringe with all this stuff.
Head. So it's sticking out of the top of his head with this baby blue milk sauce.
Yes.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
times.
It just keeps getting better from that. I thought it was with a monster from The Thing, quite frankly.
Well, so now there's a crazy spider dude rolling around for no reason, which doesn't seem to cause any problems. I mean, at one point, the one dude, the African American gentleman, is kind of tied up in the webs, but it's like I don't think Spider Joe kills anybody. And in fact, they kill him with like ease, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I was half asleep at this point.
I mean, Spider Zombie, it really kind of works out for him at first. I mean, he's much more mobile than when he was just a Dalek Centaur.
I just kept thinking, it's like you sign up to be in this movie, and for half the movie, you're just a headless arm, and then the other, I keep saying headless arm, you're a head with just an arm flopping around.
I hate it when my head has an arm.
That's correct. And then for the other half, you were all made up to look like some kind of mutant spider thing. So it's like
crusty and
slime and
appendages in various places and magical powers that allows you to punch through metal to chase soap opera stars.
It's a horror story. It is ridiculous.
I thought you said it was science fiction.
Yeah,
bump.
You got that right. There's a scene where the princess is now kind of being rescued by the leprechaun, but the remaining Marines chase after her, and she angrily flashes her boobs at them.
Oh, God, that was so weird.
It was,
again, I mean, she had natural breath, so God bless us all, but it was just one more reason to show somebody's boobies.
Yes,
there was no point whatsoever.
Well, she was like, you make me do this, and flashes her boobs at them. And the guys are like, woohoo, high-fiving. And then later, the female doctor, she's like, well, in their culture, when the princess flashes her boobs at you, that's like the kiss of death. That's a death sentence.
So in her culture, what is it like the ultra orthodox Jewish people where there's just a hole in the sheet?
That's exactly what it is. And thank you for bringing that up.
I'm like, you ain't getting naked to do your business?
That's how they do it, man.
Or maybe she's like a praying mantis. You do your business, then later, Leprechaun.
That's right. She mates and then she kills. Is what we're finding out.
Widow.
The Black Widow. I wrote down this line and I don't remember what it has to do with anything. It'll take more than penicillin. I don't know what that refers to, but it can't be good.
A clap issue. It could be the Dalek Scorpion Tarantula mixture. We don't know.
Yep. Oh God. Here's another line. At one point they're like, as Shakespeare once said, shit happens.
Oh my God, so stupid. How about, here's a little something I wrote down. At one point, Leprechaun has a lightsaber.
Yes, that is correct. Yes. The one of the Marines. Yeah, basically. He was little baby Yoda. He was Grogu. Yes, we didn't even talk about when they are invading Leprechaun's cave. The cave was ridiculous. It was like made out of. It looked like it was made out of like wadded newspaper or something. Like the walls, I think it was like paper mache.
It was Palm Springs High School theater, 7th period. Ms. Mallet only gave us like $50 to do the sets, and we had chicken wire and newspaper, and here we are.
Pretty much, it is the middle school haunted house is what we're looking at here. It was ridiculous. So anyway, the Marine goes in to rescue the princess, but of course finds the Leprechaun's gold just kind of scattered on the table. So he starts getting at it, and Leprechaun sneaks up behind him, pulls out a lightsaber, trademark, and starts stabbing, not once, not twice, 3 times behind. Look like behind the leg though. or
Yeah,
something.
like he
Because
was
Leprechaun is
cutting.
not a tall guy.
Right, like I thought it was like maybe an Achilles tendon kind of thing where you just buckle.
Yes, and then my question is like, you could have just been like, hey, stop! I'm gonna move because you stabbed me once. I'm not gonna let you stab me 5 times. I
Okay,
don't know.
but we learned
He's
in
dead.
Piranha. We learned in Piranha, no one moves.
No one moves.
I know the
Very
piranhas
true.
ate my foot, but I'm gonna stick the rest of my leg back into the pond.
Right. Did you? Okay, we didn't even talk about they're looking for the leprechaun in the spaceship. And they're like, we're going to go check out the human waste facility. The so it's full of what? What are we talking about when we say human waste?
Apparently,
Feces?
it's completely empty and full of nothing. So maybe
Thank goodness for that.
Maybe they're just shitting out the window. I don't know. You'd think it would end up somewhere.
Well, it causes problems because evidently there is a flesh-eating bacteria that lives in the flesh in the human waste facility.
The flesh for fantasy.
Flesh for fantasy. So they go in there to investigate, and the leprechaun appears and has like an X-Acto knife and kind of snip, 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 does a few minor cuts on one of the dude's biohazard suits. But by the time they get out, the dude's just a straight skeleton. That's the end of old Vinny or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Very sad. Very sad situation.
Not sad at all. It was no one gives a damn because we never bothered to even learn anything about him anyway.
Pretty much. I mean, it's a total freak show. I mean, the characters, the acting's horrendous. There's the one guy who I guess is meant to be like the romantic lead, who he kind of looked like Sly Stallone.
Oh,
did you notice that?
Like he had a stroke or something?
Sylvester, if you're listening, no offense.
No, Sylvester Stallone had a stroke as a young child. That's why it looks like that.
It didn't affect his facial structure. It just means that occasionally when he exerts himself, he kind of has a grimace because he had a stroke when he was very young. That is true. That's not what I'm talking about. Yes, sexually. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Thank you. One side of his face starts melting in the act. That's no face.
I never said his face melts like RoboCop or something. Did not say those words. Very upsetting.
Yeah, Mr. Misogyny. Yeah, basically tough guy Italian equals Stallone. Is that what I'm hearing?
That is correct.
With a touch of the Jersey Shore.
Just a splash, not an overpowering amount. Just a little something.
Not Ralph Lauren Polo. More like a Drakkar Noir.
More like an Izod, if you will. I like that the female doctor introduces herself. She's like, I'm a biologist. That is, a doctor of biology. Thank you for clarifying. So not just a master's degree is what you're telling me. You went all the way. Thank you. Good to know. Because she doesn't ever refer to herself, I guess she is called the doctor. So if you're called the doctor, I guess we can put 2 and 2 together. I don't know. Who's to say?
We don't know why they're there, why they need a biologist in space. None of this is explained. Why were they on Leprechaun Planet? We don't know.
There are 8 of them on this spaceship, and half of them act like they've never met the other half. How is this possible?
And yet, it's the end of their tour. Honestly, this is Alien.
It wishes it was.
Instead of leaping out of John Hurt's chest, you have an alien leaping forth of some dude's penis.
Penis. That is correct. We didn't even talk about the bizarre, unmotivated drag show that pops up towards the end of the movie. Like the Sarge gets a spell cast on him by the Leprechaun. And then I swear to God, it is 20 minutes of him doing some kind of crazy drag show.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah. Once again, the only thing that would save this movie would be to turn it into a musical.
Oh, you think that would save it?
I think if you had some
would you like to sing some of the let me hear some. Hit me.
I'm going to have to process this for a second. Let's see. Hey, Mr. Leprechaun, turn some magic on. I want to dance like a lady.
Something tells me that's not an original piece.
You can't prove it.
So the evil head determines that the princess's blood has like special properties because they took a little like some scrapings off his thumb and squirted it with like her blue blood, and then a fully formed thumb just appeared on the table. It was the most bizarre. It was like the lousiest special effect. Here's a crazy thumb just sitting there. It works. It works. Good times.
If we're talking about crazy things, why is the doctor, the head of this project, hiding in the doctor's office, the medical doctor's office? Why is he hiding behind a curtain the whole time, not telling anyone he's actually on the ship?
Because he's a head with an arm. He's embarrassed. And frankly, I don't blame him. I mean, he was a sight to behold. Let me tell you.
Oh my God.
Sweet Jesus.
And let me just explain to you viewers that or listeners, do you remember remember the Borg Queen, half robot, half kind of oily, wet skin, super slick, super cool? That's not this. This is if you took some silly putty, laid over a piece of wood, and threw a nail on it.
Oh, it's horrendous. It is horrendous. I mean, like, from behind, it's clearly like a crazy old mannequin head bobbling around as the thing moves around. Oh, God. You feel bad for the actors on some level. But, I mean, on another level, it's just like, maybe take a couple acting classes. That's all I'm saying.
It's direct-to-video. Who's going to see this? And, you got to eat. Let's be straight. Let's be straight, Kevin.
Please.
You and I would have both been in this movie if they'd only asked.
Oh, no. Then that's what I'm saying. If they would have called me up and said, hey, we'll have you be the evil mastermind of the ship, you're like, sounds good. But you're a head with an arm. And that's it, flopping around behind this metal tray. And then we're going to put you in 40 pounds of just gloppy, slimy spider alien thing. How's that grab you?
I got my SAG card now. Yeah, it's clearly like something right out of 30 Rock with what's her name, Jenna Maroney, who's off always filming these bizarro movies. We're filming in Iceland a werewolf movie, but it's summertime, so there's only the 15 minutes we can actually shoot each day.
Yep. She was in The Rural Juror.
The Rural Juror.
And you're dreaming. You're dreaming if you think this is a union production, by the way. They have no damn SAG cards doing this thing, let me tell you.
You're absolutely right. If I recall from my full moon entertainment days, it was always filmed in Eastern Europe.
Absolutely. It's in Bulgaria.
Yeah, Romania. We can't afford no Canada production. Come on.
It's like, what you talking about? I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I'm trying to there was the scene. So Chesty LaRue gets cut off from the rest of the gang, and she gets knocked off like a high ledge, and the leprechaun's standing over her, taunting her, and he stomps on her one foot, or stomps on her one hand, and it drops down, so she's hanging on by one hand, and then he systematically peels one finger off at a time until she's literally hanging by one finger. How strong is that damn finger to hold your entire body up with one crazy finger hanging onto that pipe. She must be very strong. A lot of good grip strength, evidently.
Well, maybe she has like a fungal thing under her armpit, so she's always itching it. That works out the one finger.
Kind of yeasty? What are you suggesting? This is very upsetting to me.
I just crack myself up sometimes.
Shall we go to behind the scenes?
I have left you speechless with visions of fungus armpits.
You have.
I know. I've damaged you.
Oh, sweet Jesus.
But here's my quote. Kowalski would have wanted it that way.
Please. That Kowalski's the dude who had the leprechaun crawl out of his crotch. So, I mean, who's to say what he wanted?
I want it that way. Tell me why.
Have I shown you a picture? Somebody brought in a balloon, and it was the Y from obviously like birthday, like happy birthday.
Yes.
And I just took it and stuck it up on my board with the words "Tell me" above it, so they know. Tell me why.
Tell me.
They don't know what it means, but I like it.
100%.
The executive in charge,
and just laugh to myself.
As long as we find it funny, after all, that's how we feel about this podcast. Clearly,
where are the listeners?
You don't even listen. I'm the only one who listens to the show.
I have to listen to it with headphones now.
Why? Because we're so offensive? Not safe for work?
You never know. Sometimes I can't hit the pause fast enough.
You're telling me. The executive in charge of production for the first 3 movies basically saw the artwork and thought this was not even PlayStation quality. Like the crazy special effects. The spaceship flying through there. They originally wanted to do like a spoof of Apollo 13. That's what they were going for. Like, instead of Tom Hanks' face, we'll have the leprechaun in there.
That's ridiculous.
That's what they said.
They're a liar. This is clearly an alien ripoff.
Well, clearly is overstating it, perhaps. I mean, there ain't a whole lot clear about what's going on in this production. I said this earlier, but it's absolutely true. This is the only Leprechaun movie where he's never referred to as a leprechaun. He's only called alien, monster, bastard, or some combination thereof.
And what's the point of that? Is it like trademarked or something?
I have no idea. Because I literally am like, I think they already had the script and just threw the leprechaun in there. That's my theory. And then didn't change the script.
Oh, yeah.
So, good. We talked about how the leprechaun uses a lightsaber, which is interesting because Warwick Davis, star of Return of the Jedi, playing Wicket, as we all know.
As we all know. Because we love Warwick Davis.
We do. He is dynamite.
Did you see that he had a reality show? It was like being Warwick Davis or something?
No, it was called Life is Short.
Life is Short. I love that. I wish it was still on. I have to go track it down. It
was produced by Ricky Gervais. And there's that. We've talked about this before. There's a hilarious scene where Liam Neeson comes in and wants to do improvisational comedy. Check that out with Warwick Davis and Ricky Gervais. It is hilarious. Leprechaun 4 is the first film in the series to have a subtitle after the number. Before this, it was just Leprechaun 1, Leprechaun 2, Leprechaun 3. This is the first one where they said, we're gonna add a subtitle. In this case, In Space, which is not the most creative subtitle I've ever heard.
Well, what
Very
about
upsetting.
Leprechaun in the Hood? Isn't that a subtitle?
That came after.
Oh. Whoa, I didn't know
That's
that.
Leprechaun 5. Oh, yeah.
Oh, all right.
Let's see. Because the romantic lead, who I said vaguely resembled Sylvester Stallone, they noticed it as well, and initially tried to make him do a Sylvester Stallone impression the entire movie, and then they dropped the idea, fearing legal issues.
Oh, Jesus.
So, sweet Jesus.
This
Body count.
Amateur hour, friend. Amateur hour.
What is this, amateur hour? The final body count is 10. 10 people die. And I'm not just talking about their careers. Boom!
Boom!
There you
and
go.
Quite frankly, you saying that, I don't even know who they are. I only remember like the one in the cage and like the one who's a skeleton. It's already moved from my mind. I have no memory of anyone else dying. I've already erased it.
As you should. Let's talk about the cast, shall we?
All right.
We know the Leprechaun was played by Warwick Davis. We've talked about him many, many times. Known for Willow, Leprechaun. He was in all the Harry Potter movies. He was in Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. He's a very well-traveled guy. Played by Jessica Collins. You know her from, she was Peggy in Catch Me If You Can. She was in a couple episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. She was in Nip Tuck. Recently, she was in Dolly Parton's Heartstrings. Oh, she was, for 426 episodes, she was Avery Bailey Clark on Young and the Restless.
Of course! As soon as I saw her, I said Young and the Restless, and I haven't watched it in 25 years.
Yep, that's her big thing.
She has the perfect, just brassy blonde, clearly born a brunette hair. It's that excellent brassy yellow that was oh so popular during this time.
Absolutely. Chesty LaRue, her character is actually called Dolores, which is kind of an interesting choice for the future, was played by Debbie Dunning. The only thing you really need to know about her is that she was on Home Improvement for many years as the Tool Girl.
Yes! Tool Time.
Tool Time.
But she replaced who? Who did she
Pamela
replace?
Anderson.
That's right.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, she did it for quite a while. She was on that for 7 years as the Tool Girl on Tool Time.
Pam Anderson dropped that biz as soon as she got Baywatch.
Absolutely. Miguel A. Nunez.
FYI,
go ahead, please.
I just finished watching the Tommy and Pam show on Hulu. Recommend. Seth Rogen.
I haven't started it yet. I want to watch it. I'll check it out. Miguel A. Nunez Jr. played Styx, the African-American gentleman. And he was actually the one I found most famous because he's been in a bunch of things we've done. He was Spider on Return of the Living Dead. He was Demon on Friday the 13th, Part 5.
He has every stereotype, poor man, crazy name. It's never like Steve.
Never Steve. Never Steve. Right. In Friday the 13th Part 5, he was the one who famously said, "Damn, these enchiladas! Dynamite. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Hollywood, shame.
For shame! Shall we talk about our ratings?
Oh, yeah. Tell me what Rex Reed said.
Okay, well, I'm on Rotten Tomatoes. It currently has a 17% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. Not a shock. Audience score, 21%. So no one liked this movie. If I click on top critics, there is nothing. There are no top critics who discuss this.
Because it never played in the theaters. It went straight to video.
Straight to video.
What do the top critics say about Girls Gone Wild?
100%. 100%. Yeah. Even these guys who are not top critics did not care for this film. But what is your rating, Aaron?
I'm going to give it one leprechaun with high heels swimming through your urethra. And I will not revisit this movie until it is, in fact, redone as a musical on Broadway.
I'm going to give it 0 leprechauns, 1 head, 1 arm climbing out of your crotch. That's all you get. I'm out. ladies and gentlemen, if you take nothing away from this episode except one thing, let this be the thing. Do not watch the Leprechaun series. They are awful. They're awful. No, I mean, again,
thought you liked them. That's
you
shocking to
were
me because
mistaken.
you like terrible movies. I thought this would be right up your wheelhouse.
Okay, first of all, damn you. Let me just start there. No, we've talked about this before. It can be good, like objectively, artistically good, or it can be crazy. It can't be boring.
Yes.
If it's boring, I'm out. I will forgive a lot of sins. Boredom, I'm not forgiving that one. I do not pardon you. That's all I'm saying.
Hollywood, Broadway, I'm telling you. You take this, turn it into a musical comedy, and you got something. This could be the next Little Shop of Horrors. But unless you add snappy songs and take out some of the racism and misogyny, or double down, that makes it all the more funny. I take it all back. Double down on the racism and misogyny and add some snappy songs. People will be lining outside in New York to see this.
In Trump's America, they will definitely be lining up if you add the misogyny and the racism. But it's like you say,
it can be redone as a musical comedy. Cannibal Holocaust. Basket
no, it
cakes.
cannot. You're out of your damn mind.
I Spit on Your Grave, the musical. You'd want to go see that, wouldn't you?
No, I would not. So there you have it. Thank you very much for sticking with us. Go to our page on Facebook at the podcast that would die. Go to our page on Twitter at tpodcast TWDie. Aaron, are we still on Instagram? What's happening?
We are on Instagram. I'm trying to update weekly, but I didn't put Sundays yet. But I'll try to do that before I go to bed. We are the podcast that wouldn't die on Instagram.
Extra underscores for your pleasure. You can email us at the podcast that wouldn't die at Gmail. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, anywhere the finest podcasts are available. So don't forget to like, share, rate, and review. Tell a friend, won't you? Aaron?
Friend. 5-star reviews only. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, Aaron, you are also on social media. What's the story?
I am the Cult of Aaron. Join the cult. A lot of underscores in that situation, too. I'm also Don't Feed the Pigeon on the Insta. And then if you got a couple of bucks to rub together, then hit me up on the First Dibs or the Artsy. Any of you secret gazillionaires, Jeff Bezos, if you're out there listening to the podcast, I know you are because I've seen that giant fist penis rocket. So I know you're down with the science fiction. So
I don't even know what the hell that means, but okay.
His rocket, Kevin, please. Have you not?
I say thee nay.
Rocket?
I'm out.
I'm just saying. Just telling truths here. Just telling truths.
Next week, we'll be discussing the horror classic. This is another... Okay. Aaron picked Leprechaun 4 in space, and Aaron picked the next one, Flesh for Frankenstein, also known as Andy Warhol's
Frankenstein. And as you're watching this, just keep in mind that my high school took me to see this when I was 14.
Keep that in the back of your mind as you luxuriate on this freak show.
When
Sweet
you think about
Jesus.
voting in vouchers for public schools, remember it was my private school that took me to see this.
They did it. They're responsible. They're indoctrinating our children.
In Arizona. So
if for some reason you would like to watch Flesh for Frankenstein, there are things you can do.
Why wouldn't you want to see
You have to...
Udo Kier Classic.
If you say so. You can watch it on Shudder. You can watch it on AMC Plus, and I believe on the DirecTV app. So enjoy. Or don't.
Can't
so there you have it.
Can't they buy their own copy on the Amazon? Because trust me, once is not enough. You're going to need to buy this. Kevin, don't you own this?
Hell no, I don't own this. Is you crazy? So thank you very much and be well.
Ciao, ciao.